So I have clarity, a lot of clarity around my guitar learning curriculum. I spent today doing a little research on YouTube. Quickly found an instructor that I like. He makes the Spanish guitar accessible to beginners, and I found a couple of other YouTube channels, but I'm gonna likely just stick with him for now. Just start there, and then that'll give me a nice foundation so that when I'm having conversations with people, if I'm around other people jamming, I can actually engage and hopefully play, and speak with the language of the guitar, and having that be grounded in sort of basic music theory and chord construction, as well as just understanding the scales and how to create my own phrases and kind of adapt my own rhythm with those phrases. But I also realized I need like a goal or something to work toward. So since I really love the Spanish guitar, I would really love to learn Spanish, one of the two classic Spanish guitar songs. The first one being Malagueña, and the second one being Romanza, which is the Spanish romance song. And so I've always loved that one in particular, but Malagueña is like a classic, and so I would really love to learn that as well. And there are a bunch of different variations and ways to play it that are easy for beginners that I should be able to pick that up relatively quickly. And so just bowing my hat down to the Spanish guitar and honoring that lineage and one of the things that really initially attracted me to it, the sound. I would also eventually love to learn some type of flamenco song, but slow and steady. But what I really want to play, because one of the things that I love about the Spanish guitar in particular is just that I feel, and I suppose you could say the acoustic guitar, but I love the Spanish guitar because it feels like a very intimate experience. You really feel it. You have more spaciousness to really play with each note and each string, and just really just the way that the sound reverberates in my body, it resonates deeply. And I feel that way also with singing. I'm always making sounding, I like to call it. Not necessarily, I'm not classically trained by any stretch for singing or the guitar. However, I feel the sounds, I feel the music very deeply. And I feel like the Spanish guitar, or just the guitar and singing, will be one of my main forms of expression, and being able to combine these two. And so I want a song where I can do that. One of the old songs that came to mind was this Lianne La Havas song called "He Loves Me." I kind of adapted it when I was manifesting a romantic partner years ago, and then it actually happened. But obviously we've ended since then, earlier this year, and so I don't want to be a sad boy in that way, but I've historically been a hopeless romantic, and so I think the Spanish romance song, and then maybe "He Loves Me," which I'll adapt to "She Loves Me," will be my kind of that R&B flair that I have and love. But that aside, I found a song, or I remembered a song that really resonates, that I can play on the guitar and sing. And the song is "I Surrender" by Hillsong. And that was one of the first songs that I ever sang in front of a group of people. Actually, it might be the first song I ever did. It's either that or the Brian McKnight song, "Back at One," by Brian McKnight that I sang at one of my closest friends' wedding. And so I think I might have sung that song right after I did this song, I Surrender by Hillsong, at a Storytell event. And I was just so moved at that time by that song, because I've just been on my own spiritual journey of surrender, and it was just like, yo, like, I'm gonna give it up to you, God, universe, source, love, like, I'm yours, right? Like, and I feel like something about that song is like, it really is a resonant song where I feel deeply, and it's like I'm surrendering to the music, I'm surrendering to this moment, I'm surrendering to my essence, to this way of being and navigating life, reality. It's hell yes or nothing, baby. And I surrender to that hell yes. I surrender to love, to truth, to play, and so yeah, it feels like that's the perfect song to master, such that whenever I pick a guitar and perhaps I'm sharing this gift with family, with friends, that's the gift that I wish to share. And then from there we can play a little bit more. I think I'm really excited because I learned a little bit more about improvisation and how one does that with the guitar. I really love this YouTube channel that I found, and so I think his name is like Tomas Nishab, if I'm remembering it correctly. But he just explained it so clearly. It's like you have these scales, and I've known them, different scales for some time, right? But I never quite, it's like everybody says to play and practice your scales. And I'm like, but why? Like, what's the point of it? And in it, he's like, he invites you to find the notes within the scale that feel good, that you like, and then perhaps create a phrase, So it's like, pick like 3 or 4 or maybe 5 notes that you really enjoy, and just practice playing those notes within that scale. Or wherever you're playing, your playing field, as he calls it, on the fretboard. And so if it's like a series of notes on these strings that you're focused on, then you choose those, you play with those notes with some other guitars that are playing in the background, and ideally, like say there's like a more advanced guitar person that's like strumming a series of chords, and I'm hearing the chords and I'm listening for the sounds, and I'm feeling like these notes in this scale would go really well with that, and then I'm just playing them over and over again, and maybe starting to play with the rhythm of them, and like putting my own style and flair to it. And so that made sense to me, and it gives me like a clarity around how I might be able to jam and to improvise with other guitar players who are more experienced. Because sometimes it can be a little, sometimes it can be a little intimidating to play with other people who are more experienced, and I'm just like, oh, I don't quite know. And so I like to practice on my own a little bit and then engage with that knowledge. But having said that, like when I was in Vermont with some friends years ago, friends who are now family, I had my first jam session, and my friend kind of gave me a basic lesson, and he's just like, yeah, just do this, and then I'm kind of going through this as he's playing, and I didn't really understand what was happening, and I felt like a little subconscious, but I still did it, and it was a very delicious experience, and I'm eager to have more of those types of experiences, because musical instruments, whether that be the guitar or your voice, feel like they feel they're just another language, another way to express and to communicate and to connect with people. And I love music in particular because it bypasses just the logic, and it just resonates in the body, in the spirit. And so that's I'm allowing myself to get masterful at that, and to just enjoy this journey of mastery and of expression. So that's what's going down. We'll keep you posted on the journey.